Hi everybody and welcome to our YouTube video today. Today we are going to talk about the all-important topic of community pharmacy. I am Yasmin, a pharmacist and YouTuber, and here I am with the incredible Baba, also pharmacist, but can do a much better introduction of himself. So Baba, over to you.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. You're a star in my eyes. I following your footsteps, trying to get on social media to spread the word. I'm a community pharmacist by profession. I run Christchurch Pharmacy here in Braintree alongside my wife, who's a doctor who runs Christchurch clinics. That's who we are. That's
amazing. So Baba, tell us a bit about, so how many pharmacies do you have? When did you start?
You know, I've got just one pharmacy, but that pharmacy has grown to, as I said, my wife runs the clinic and we also run a care agency here in Braintree. So all underneath the umbrella of Christchurch Health Centre. We bought Christchurch Pharmacy as a rundown business in 2003, and I saw an opportunity of a growing community where myself and my wife could make a difference. And she's since left GP practice under the NHS to run a private GP practice for us. So we don't have more than one pharmacy, but we have what we call a health center pharmacy, because we believe pharmacy can do so much more than just being a pharmacy.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so you touched on something really interesting there. So you found kind of, I guess, a rundown pharmacy and brought it up, but identified the need to be inbuilt within the community, and your community you chose was Braintree. Right. So tell me about, I guess, if you could take us through your initial idea of what community pharmacy was when you first started, and how that's kind of changed and grown to today's state.
It's been a massive evolution. Oh, the options I had living uni was retail pharmacy, remember that word, just note that word, hospital pharmacy or industrial pharmacy. No one used the term community pharmacy at that stage. So we came out thinking we were retailers. And that mentality is held on with many of our colleagues to think retail pharmacy, community pharmacy was the difference. However, coming into the UK, I had the opportunity to do my pre-reg in a hospital.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me see pharmacy in a more multidisciplinary setting. Now, when I said to my colleagues that I was going to buy a pharmacy, one of the ladies said, "You're going to buy a corner shop." No. And you know, that really hit me. And now I'm campaigning all over the place. Please don't call yourself a shop anymore. You're a practice. It's a GP practice, dental practice, even veterinary practice. And it has to be called a pharmacy practice. So our pharmacies, we see ourselves as a practice, and we see ourselves as a multidisciplinary team. We've got a private GP, we've got IP pharmacists, we've got technicians doing lots of services now. We call ourselves a health center because we're bigger than just a retail part of the community.
That's amazing. And you know, we get taught the module pharmacy practice. So you're 100% right. Why don't we call it the community pharmacy practice?
Absolutely.
You know, but that is so interesting. And it's really interesting also that there are certain words and phrases that have stuck with you all this time. And to be honest, I think a lot of us can relate to that you get told one thing about a perception of a career.
Yes.
And, you know, yes, it might be a shop on a high street, but it's actually delivering healthcare services and healthcare support. So it shouldn't really be run like a newsagent's, to be honest.
No, absolutely. I mean, the dentists don't sell a few toothpaste, don't they? They don't call themselves a shop because of that. And the veterinary side, they sell things as well. So I'm not saying we shouldn't sell things, but we're more than the sales.
Yes.
We have clinical advice that could make a difference to people's lives. So all of that is who we are. Now, the power of how people see you is that if they see you as a shopkeeper, then they think of you like you can't provide the things they need, and they look at you, they don't value your time.
Yeah.
You know, so they expect you to come over and just give them something from the shelf because they think you're just making a sale. But if they come in and they see that you carry yourself as a practitioner, then they respect you like they do their GPs.
Yes.
And you know, why should patients feel surprised when you give them good advice.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That's so true.
Because they're thinking, oh, I didn't expect that here. What do you mean? What did you expect? Do you know what I
So
mean?
true, yeah.
So I think that perception needs to change. And also for the next generation, because, we were talking earlier, you were saying about those who are thinking pharmacy is dead. Now, that perspective, where is it coming from? Because they can't see a future in it. But if they see us as a practice, if they see pharmacies being a multidisciplinary profession that's got nurses working there, the things you're looking at in phlebotomy in future happening there, you could get your genetic checks done there. Then all of a sudden, who knows how many more people will be looking out to study pharmacy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a really important point. But before we get onto this part of the perception, I want to touch on one thing about when you were saying about being a shop and selling things, but also giving advice. Have you ever felt conflicted that you are a healthcare professional, you're providing NHS services, but yet you have to charge for some things? Do you ever feel conflicted as a clinician, but also businessman?
No. I'll tell you why. I say this, Jenna, I'll just say it quickly. When a person goes into a GP surgery, they're called a patient. They pick up their prescriptions, go to the pharmacy, and they're called a customer. They go to get their hair done, and they're called a client. Now, clients don't worry about exchanging their money with you.
No.
Because they know you know how to do, they know that their hairdresser knows what to do with their hair. So they don't argue. But when you go to a shop, you look at the price and you determine yourself what you want to do based on the price.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean? They don't argue with their doctors. Patients are very patient with their doctors. They're not patient with the pharmacists because they just give me that over the counter. You could just sell that, buy that, whatever.
Yeah.
You see? But what we've tried to establish at Christchurch Pharmacy is we are not a shop, we're a practice. We don't see customers, we see patients. And we're seeing that patients are becoming more patient to see that when we ask you, have you had your blood pressure checked? All of a sudden, they're looking at you thinking, I wasn't expecting that in this setting, but now that you've asked, I can see why you guys are a practice, because we've got 3 consultation rooms and everything is all around bringing you in to provide services.
Yeah.
On the back of that, the travel health service we provide, the earwax service we provide, it's not the cheapest, or weight management, for example, where they could go online and get it cheaper. But because of the image of a practice that we have, exchange of money is not difficult because they trust that the standard you're providing is the kind that we'll get in the GP practice.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful, because I definitely know that some of us, as clinicians, as patients, you can feel conflicted. Well, not just patients, but I guess clinicians and entrepreneurs, you start to feel a little bit conflicted as to why am I charging for this service when we've got the NHS? And I think one of the things, if we want to innovate, we have to be able to support ourselves first to then be able to innovate in a wider way. And the only way that healthcare is going to take steps forward is via innovation, right?
Yes.
But now let's go back to the pharmacy is dead question.
Yeah.
So one of the things I always get asked comments on constantly is, why are you so upbeat about pharmacy? Why are you so, it's completely a dead profession. There's nowhere for us to work. It's just really long, hard working hours standing. You're doing the same thing that somebody else could do. What's your answer to that?
That couldn't be any further from the truth, because pharmacy's got great opportunities, but I will take responsibility on my part that where I've seen the opportunities the pharmacy provides, even with the changes, I have not been outspoken enough. Now, we find that those who are more outspoken are those who've got negative things to say. Hey, don't get me wrong. It is challenging times in pharmacy.
Yeah.
Isn't it in any business?
Yeah.
In GP world, it's not a bed of roses. Everyone's having to adapt.
Yes.
Even if you sell clothes, you're having to adapt with internet competition. So pharmacy's got to evolve with the times. Now, I think as entrepreneurs, which we are, that is the definition of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Where you look at what the market wants and you adapt yourself to what the market wants. We get the opportunity, unlike other businesses, to be sponsored by the NHS. My words are, look, the NHS I having an NHS contract, I'll start again, allows the opportunity for people to be sent to my business.
Yeah. Just for the viewers, can you talk about, just quickly, briefly, what is an NHS contract and what is a pharmacy contract, just for those that aren't really...
Okay. So you can't just open a community pharmacy in the United Kingdom. You need an NHS contract, which is a contract that allows you to provide essential services, advanced services, and locally commissioned services on behalf of the NHS in a certain location.
Okay.
Once you've got that location, the NHS then advertises you as one of their providers for their patients, which is the whole country, to go to for those services.
Yeah.
When the patients come through the door for those services, the NHS doesn't actually stop you from providing your own other services.
Yeah.
So where I'm finding ourselves as a family business, that yes, the NHS might not be paying me as much as I want for the services it wants me to provide.
Yes.
Yes, we fight for more pay, but while I'm doing that, I'm also using the opportunity of the footfall of the NHS directed patients to provide other services to the benefit of the community, but also for the financial benefit of the business. And
That's
so it's
incredible.
a win-win.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I think it really speaks to where, like you said, innovation is born from a distressed system, right? The market is calling for things that it needs,
Yes.
and we can provide them, and it's about us jumping on that to then being able to provide them. And that is really, really interesting. And for those of you guys that don't know, I actually had the amazing opportunity to visit Christchurch earlier and to see all the incredible services that are provided there. So we talked about the NHS contract, we've talked about community pharmacy. So we also know that earlier this year, the 10-year plan was released by the government. How do you think that's going to impact us as community pharmacists?
Do you want the truth?
Yes. Unfiltered, please.
Unfiltered. I had a mentor who would say there are three groups of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who say, oh, what happened? Because when the opportunity comes knocking, like the NHS 10-year plan is an opportunity for pharmacy to create its own statement out there of ability. It's talking about hospital to community. Hey, that's us. It's talking about digital, analog to digital. What are you doing in your pharmacy about that? And it's talking about treatment to prevention. Now, being ready is like running a race, a relay race. And what's happening right now is one race is coming to an end. We're being told that dispensing fees are going to shrink, clinical services are going to increase. So you've got that baton coming with these 3 shifts in front of it. Instead of beginning to run, you know, when someone's going to hand you a baton, you start running in a direction, just jogging a little bit, being ready to receive it. So you're making those changes in your business in the direction of those 3 shifts, but we're not doing that as a collective. We've turned around and are looking at the 10-year plan running towards us with the baton, and you're like, do I like it? What color is the baton? And you can't do that in a race.
No.
Because what's going to happen is it's going to bam, hit you, because the momentum with which it's coming, you've got to begin to go in that direction.
Yeah, you've got to
and
be
that's
ready.
where visionary leaders come in. And I ask myself the question, am I a mercenary? Or am I a visionary? Because mercenaries think about what's in it for me now.
Yeah.
But a visionary's got to think about what's in it for us in the future.
Yes.
And that's where the opportunity comes that even though the NHS 10-year plan is a draft, we can begin to shape the future of pharmacy ready to move with these shifts.
That's amazing. All right, I have to pause because that was just so insightful. I think there is so much food for thought there, but also so much excitement
There is.
You know, taking the visionary path.
Yes.
Like you said, you know, if you own the building, you own the contract, you own the place, you can
Correct.
diversify your
Absolutely.
services to anything and everything you
Without
want.
permission. As long as what you're doing is legal, you've got the footfall coming in, and we need to start using that because we have a benefit of that.
Exactly. It kind of brings me back to, you know, the story of Airbnb,
Yeah.
where they literally just started selling a mattress on the floor to make money, to rent floor space in San Francisco. And now it's, you know, a kind of multi-million-dollar business.
It is.
Renting, having an ecosystem, a community of people sharing their rooms, sharing their places for the whole benefit of, I guess, the globe, because everyone uses that everywhere.
And we've got Airbnb, and it's a win-win for everybody. And now the problem with the good thing about that is that was a visionary, not a mercenary.
Right.
Now he's allowed other people to use their own homes to make money, and he makes money on the side. Until we start to see pharmacy, community pharmacy, we see ourselves as a collective, and we level up to seeing how we can make sure that we're all stepping into a level that can compete with GP practices for contracts. In the commissioning, in the neighborhoods, then we've got a problem.
So interesting. And I hope you don't mind me bringing this in,
No, it's
but
okay.
I know one of your steps as a visionary and bringing us together as a community pharmacy collective is the
Community Pharmacy National Booking Service.
Exactly. Do you want to tell us a bit about it?
So, going back to this issue around collective, in Braintree, our pharmacy's got 3 pharmacists. I'm the 4th pharmacist. But there are other pharmacies that sometimes do not have a pharmacist in place to actually do pharmacy first. So I got a complaint from a GP saying, I've sent a referral and it got sent back to me. Baba, can't you guys create a hub? So I send the patient to that hub, and the patient chooses the pharmacy. And that hit me that we don't have a choose and book system for pharmacy first. What if we had a choose and book system like we have for COVID vaccination, which is the NBS? You know, so you got this platform that aggregates the availability of all the pharmacies across the country. Now, it doesn't replace the IT systems in the individual pharmacies. Just like NBS does not replace Sona or Pharma Outcomes or any of the others out there. We use Pharma Outcomes, for example. But NBS stands alone. So I spoke to Stephen Kinnock, I wrote to him, and he wrote back saying that's not the plan, and that the plan is in the long term to include pharmacies somewhere down the line. And I said to myself, why don't we as a community come together and create a digital front door that allows the patient to choose and book their own pharmacy? It's a simple appointment booking system from which at the back end, the pharmacy decides to open for 2 hours of pharmacy first or 3 hours. But the patient themselves can on their phone decide where to choose and book for an appointment. Better still, for the GPs, they don't need to think about it as a referral. They just send the patient a link to that website, and that's their job done. Yeah.
That's amazing. And it makes so much sense because through COVID, we already do have the national booking system, but we also have the choice for walk-ins as well. Because as a dynamic, you know, service and a community pharmacy, you can have the ability to manage both because you've got the timings and you've got. To me, it sounds like a no-brainer. So I know us from Carson's Pharmacy will definitely be joining this.
Fantastic.
But no, I think for everybody that's out there, it's really important that we do become a collective because, like you said, if you think about the patients, they want such ease in access. And we're already there on the high street that they can walk in and come. But imagine if it was even more simpler, where they did have an appointment time, they did know where they've been seen. You know, we see it all the time with parents who have young kids, who have an earache, they're really uncomfortable, they're really, you know, and as a mum myself, all you want to do is know that you've got a set time to bring them in. you know, if they're uncomfortable for that small period of time, that's fine. You can manage it and, you know, chat to your child about it. But if you're waiting in the pharmacy for hours or turn up to a pharmacy and not have a pharmacist there,
Yes.
that's even more of a distressing situation.
No, absolutely. So CPMBS isn't going to replace walk-ins. Walk-in will always exist.
Yeah.
But there are planned, so these services sometimes it's easier when the patient is able to plan their journey before school run, on my way back from school run. You want to know that someone's available for you when you get there.
Exactly.
Walk-ins will always be the case. And for GPs as well, they want a system like this so they don't have to do referrals. You know, so that's the direction that we would like to see pharmacy come together. And I've been speaking to quite a few of our leaders about this, and most of them are saying, yeah, but you know, we need to all come together behind one door, and then it works.
Exactly. Oh, and the best part is free.
Absolutely free to every pharmacy, because there's nothing in it.
Exactly.
We literally are the ones doing the work, just like you would do on Manage My Appointment. I think that's what it is now. So you go and Manage My Appointment and open your appointments as a pharmacy, close your appointment as a pharmacy, and that's all it is.
Exactly. That is incredible. So just before we round off this video, I want to ask you the question, Baba. Okay. What would be your vision of community pharmacy in 2050?
No pharmacy would only have one pharmacist anymore. That is a handicap. All GP surgeries that only have one are closed. That would allow for sustainability of service. When a pharmacist goes on holiday and then you can't provide the service, what is the commissioner supposed to say? Now, how do we manage pharmacy in a way that you will be able to accommodate? So we need government to provide more than 7 conditions so that we've got more that we can provide clinically. Now we're going to, our graduates are coming out as IPs. We need more consulting rooms to allow that to happen. So the retail element of pharmacy, I think if you don't have enough space for 3 consulting rooms, you need to start planning towards it, even if it means strategically, you might need to put away some over-the-counter space, which has been, you know, over-the-counter space and Amazon and all that's going on there. Can you really compete? But nobody can compete with us in taking community clinical services if you have that space and that capacity to manage it. So I see us being clinical practices. So it's a clinical practice, less retail pharmacy or shop. And that's the future that I see.
And that's the clinical part. Anything you'd like to see from a technology perspective?
Absolutely. Now we've just put in a few new systems to change our PMR, and that's really revolutionized the things that we're doing. Now AI is here to stay. Technology is going further every day. Pharmacy cannot be left out. I always say there is no grandparent clause where IT is concerned. So we've got to go with the flow and see how we can use that, not just in the dispensary to make things more efficient so we're free to be with the patient, but also while we're with the patient, we can have technology helping our consultation processes, you know, and also do I know what's going to happen next year? No, but I want to be ready for the technology that's available to upgrade. Our mobile phones get upgraded every year.
It's
true.
So
you can imagine, we need to be ready to upgrade, upskill, and move along with the times.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Baba. Any kind of final thoughts?
I really want to say a big thank you for spending some time with us and the family today. It's been really, really encouraging to have you speaking to the things that we're doing, advice you've given to my son, and the questions you've asked me have been, giving me a lot to think about. So
thank you so much, and thank you too, Baba, for your time. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Bye.